Hello, welcome to Computer Game Show Talks Over, the Xbox One reveal from E3. When was this, Matt?
2013.
2013.
It wasn't an E3 thing. This was like a separate thing they did away from E3.
Sorry. Right, well, that's... Yeah.
Hang on.
So,
What?
Go on.
I thought this was at E3.
No, they did this before E3.
Yeah, but like a couple of days before.
Oh, right,
Like-
so it was...
like
okay.
weeks
so it
before.
was
You know.
pre-E3, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, so just to explain, my name is Sean Bell. I'm joined by Matthew Murray,
Hello.
James Farley,
Hello.
and special guest, he's on paternity leave, but he's joined us, David Turners.
I mean, I said you could present this. I didn't expect to be named last.
Oh, he's complaining about being last.
I was building up the... It's like, you know, when you have a chat show, you have the most important person on last, Dave. That's the...
You have
So
passed the test. Sean
Thank
Bell
you.
passed the test.
So yeah, this is a new thing we're going to be trying out where we go through like old conferences and announcements and stuff and have a chat about them. We've not done like any prior research. The whole point is we go into this blind, and it's going to be interesting to see what we remembered and what is now surprising in hindsight, stuff like that. We're aware this isn't a new idea, but we thought it'd be fun. So let's see how we go.
No, it's totally unique. You will not see anything like this anywhere else on the internet.
It's about as new as you know, some men talking about what games they've played every week and then answering questions.
Yeah.
So it's-
I mean, this is punching the low-hanging fruit, isn't it? I mean, this is going straight in with the... I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's like real sort of just, what are we going to say throughout this whole thing?
I know. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been the Konami one. I mean, that would have been even more of a like.
I mean,
We're
that's
gonna
got to
build
be on the
up
list,
to that.
surely. Yeah.
We're building
Yeah,
up to that, James.
I don't know. It's overplayed.
Oh,
Over. Right, should we get on with it?
Go
Yeah,
on,
might
do
as
it.
well, eh?
hit play. Hit play.
Right.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
Right.
It was in their own little
I
special
was
building.
properly buzzing.
I feel like I'm in
properly
2013 all over again.
buzzing. When this first came out, I was like, this is it, man. I loved my 360.
I know.
This
All
is
I had
the
to do
new
was do a better
Xbox.
one.
Right,
Oh,
it's
I
Bill. It's Bill.
forgot it started with Gates.
Story.
Character,
Real emotion.
It is.
Oh my
Big
God.
Cliff.
We added you.
This is,
Me.
this
Me.
is like when you look at an old
Definitely
school, you know, when your parents look at an old school photograph and say, he's dead.
Well, yeah,
He's
yeah,
dead.
because
He's
obviously,
gone now.
because Cliffy B been there. He was the Gears of War guy at this point, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
More of you we put in entertainment.
This was before like Radical Heights.
Yeah.
No, no, yeah.
Radical lows.
And my voice.
Oh dear, here we go. It really is.
We're about to change entertainment
Remember him?
forever.
Remember him?
Again.
I mean, to be
Kojima's still
fair,
going.
I don't know who most of these other people are. So at least
We have-
Not tonight, but we're
we haven't
about
had
to
Jonathan
see the
Blow yet.
ultimate. We're about to see the ultimate. Do you remember him guy in a matter of seconds?
My family. My movies. Me.
Me.
All the things
Okay,
I
could
like.
you just look at the camera and say, me?
We're going to
And then
use
cut.
Groundbreaking technology.
We'll use that.
The power of the cloud. Everyone drink.
Was that Steven Spielberg?
It was, yeah.
Okay,
It was.
just
They
checking.
wheeled
Oh, that
him out
was
for everything.
yeah, okay.
And cheer more.
He
Wow.
works on Sea of Thieves.
He always gets wheeled out. I mean, Apple have had him recently as well. You know, it's been like.
They just
look,
stick
this
it
is-
into
What
things.
was the Wii game he supposedly worked on where you just shot the blocks?
Is it Boom Blocks?
Yeah.
Boom Blocks.
It was all right.
Guys, come on, let's
was
look.
shit.
It's Don
Matrix
Matrick. It's
here.
Don Matrick. Come on.
Oh my
The boy.
God. Look at
The
him,
absolute-
full of hope.
This is
Look at him
pre-Zynga.
smiling. That was the last time he smiled.
Oh, look at him.
I don't know. Was he not pretty cheerful when he got the job at fucking Zynga after
Yeah.
absolutely destroying the Xbox brand?
He might have smiled for a moment, but I think that job only lasted about a week, didn't it?
Was it?
Before he got sacked.
than I am today. Because today, we put you at the center of a new generation.
He's really
Of
cool, isn't he?
controversy.
Where your games look and feel like nothing else. Where your TV becomes more intelligent.
Do we have to take a drink
So
every time he
All of
mentions
your
television, by the way?
entertainment Comes alive.
Definitely.
I think
Way
that
ahead
might
of
be
you,
a
Sean.
thing. I
I've
mean,
only got one drink.
obviously I'm only
More
on the
than a
fizzy
decade
pop,
ago,
but you know.
Xbox put the most advanced hardware and software in the hands
The
of
teetotal
creators
guys
so they
offering
could
up drinking
realize
games
new
there.
visions for people.
Everyone do a shot
You
of
guys
water.
should all do
So we
that.
made an early bet on Xbox Live.
You see, I'm looking at that and thinking, God, do you remember how nice that interface was?
That was when
Yeah.
that was. Well, I wouldn't say it was the last good one, but it was It was good.
It was
Xbox
very much the
360,
good old days,
we
wasn't
launched
it?
the HD
Yeah.
I
era
miss
of
those
games.
blades.
It was functional.
Yeah,
You
man.
wanted more competition and
Yeah, it
bigger
worked, and that was all we
communities, so
wanted
we
back
doubled
then.
down on Xbox Live.
What, you're speaking over the man.
With
Listen to
Kinect,
what he's got to
we
say.
made you the controller. We brought you
With
new
Kinect, we
interactive
gave
two-way TV.
We were the
fitness,
controller.
Sports,
We were.
and now,
For a time.
nearly 8 years after our launch, Xbox 360 remains a vibrant platform, continuing to lead the industry in sales.
Watch us fuck
In a
it.
few short weeks at E3, we'll be sharing great news about what's next on Xbox 360. We're thankful to you and proud of our
Oh yeah,
leadership
because they
position
start off with
in
the
this
with 360, don't they?
thriving
For like
$65
quite a long
billion
time, as I recall.
industry.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Today, we look forward. Incredible shifts are happening across games and entertainment, with exciting new ways
Here's the
to
interesting
play
thing.
and have fun.
It feels
on.
like
Audiences spending their time
the
enjoying
next
different
generation
types of
is going to be
content.
way more
Core and
like this
casual
presentation
games, live and recorded
than it
television,
was the
sports and
PlayStation
movies.
4 presentation, right?
These stories are
No,
lighting
with
up
their
on
their
every
view on
device.
You mean
how
what they're
From the
offering?
big screen
how
to the
digital's
tablet
going and all that
to the
sort of
mobile
stuff.
phone.
Yeah.
People have been saying that
The
a lot.
living room has changed
It'd be interesting to
radically
see
over
if
the last 8
that
years
comes
with the
across
addition of the
watching this
cloud-powered
today.
internet, voice and
Yeah.
gesture,
Yeah,
Because
what, like
this-
watching this now and like, what? How would we feel if
To
this
continue
was
to lead,
today? Like,
we must
Today,
provide
yeah,
yeah.
compelling
We'd be
answers
that
to new
bothered.
questions.
It was
Can we
really
take what
far
you
ahead of
love
its time,
and make
and
it
then
better?
no one was ready for it, and no one wanted
Can we
it.
improve a living room that has become
But
too
again, I think if
complex,
they'd just taken the
too
disk drive out,
fragmented, and too slow by
That
harmonizing
It
might
wasn't
have
just that
made
though.
more
It was the
Can I
critical
just
thing was
pause
the
there?
Connect as well.
I will
Yeah, go
just
for it.
say
to inspire the
I
world's
can't.
greatest creators.
I can't pause. It's not working.
Hey, there we go. Yeah.
I will say this, right?
Yeah.
He just said we're living in living rooms that are too complex, too fragmented, and what was the last thing he said? He said too slow. I mean, I don't remember sitting in my living room back then and thinking, God, this bloody living room's too slow.
It's too.
It's
It's so
just
fragmented.
slowy.
This whole room is fragmented to fuck. Okay.
Too many remotes. You are the remote. That's what I
So
want to be.
complex that I can't walk in my living room.
I mean, who doesn't get slowed down when they walk into their living room? It's
It's true.
ridiculous.
It's appalling.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe if they
Team
Right, okay,
Xbox
well.
is on a new mission. Design
bowed
and
out of that
build
joke
an
before they even
all-in-one
said it.
system to light up a new generation of games, TV, and entertainment. It must be built for the future with hardware, software, and services that put you at the center. And at its very core, it must be simple, instant, and complete.
I mean,
They
is it
failed on
any of
most
those?
terms.
Yeah.
We believe you can evolve what you love to make it decidedly better and deliver breakthrough innovations.
Look at his smug
Look at
face.
him. He's yeah. It's so different from Spencer these days, isn't it? He's got his like t-shirts and his leather jackets.
Entertainment to take center stage.
I mean, that is the face of a man who
Today,
thinks he's
we're
fucking nailed it,
thrilled
isn't
to
it?
unveil
Yeah,
It is,
it
yeah.
really
He's
is.
got no idea
It
what's
really
coming.
entertainment system. The one with the power to create experiences that look and feel like nothing else. The one that makes your TV
Also,
more
that microphone on
intelligent.
his shirt's a bit much, isn't
The
it?
one system.
Yeah, why has it got too
for a
much?
new
I mean, I know
generation.
that'll be
Yeah.
just a thing.
Because it's
that
got
I'm
it's
not
got a
aware of.
heartbeat
Ladies and
sensor in it.
gentlemen,
It's got a motion sensor in it.
Introducing Xbox One.
It's what we're getting free with the next Xbox.
There we go. That's
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Is that when we first heard the name? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is still a look at how ugly that is.
It looks like it looks terrible. It's such a beast.
We said it at the time as well, didn't
Yeah.
we? That the machine just looked like total shit.
It's just
Yeah.
a
Massive
fucking
old
block,
VCR.
isn't it? I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
it
it's
was clearly
ugly.
designed because they were terrified about another Red Ring sort of thing.
Oh,
weren't they?
100%.
yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you
make
remember
it as
picking it up for the
ventilated
first
as
time as
possible.
well and just thinking, fucking hell, this literally just feels like, it felt so cheap. Like the
I mean,
plastic, it was so
Even
hollow
Connect
inside.
itself weighed an absolute ton, and you had to balance it perfectly on your TV or below TV. But it's like if that thing fell, that was going to go through the TV unit.
That pad,
But
though,
the controller
can't
is still
complain about
brilliant.
that pad.
yeah,
Yeah,
they got that right.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of the shoulder buttons, but the pad I still
They
love the
improved
look
them
of
though,
it.
didn't they?
Yeah,
when
the
when they
Yeah,
went
here we
original
go.
ones were not great. They're all clicky, but they
First
got better.
mention of cloud
Cloud-powered.
computing there.
Yeah.
That's that panned out, didn't it?
What, Crackdown 3, Sean?
Yeah.
That worked out?
Oh god, did they show Crackdown 3 in this?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god, I hope they do.
Xbox One.
It was that shot. It was that shot.
That's
Oh,
Because that was the one that they were plastering all over the websites afterwards, when he was saying things like, "Hey, if you wanted a console that works offline, get a 360." Do you remember that quote?
Yeah.
oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Designing Xbox One, we've obsessed about every finite detail.
Not every detail.
In every engineering milestone, at every corner, in every feature, the
He
principles
couldn't
we
even say
followed were to be
feature.
simple,
He couldn't even blur the
instant,
words out.
and complete. Please welcome Yusuf Mehdi to show some of the new experiences you'll find only on Xbox One.
NFL.
This Rise. They're going to show off first, or whatever.
I mean, yeah, the name when I first heard it was like, what? It does. Why?
We absolutely tore it apart for the name, which I still think is an awful name for a console.
yeah.
And I'm pausing this, right? And
no,
so
that
the
made
idea
sense,
was
though.
that they said like they want to be like HDMI 1 on your TV. Wasn't that the
No,
No, but
it was all
all
types
in
of
one?
entertainment all in one. That
Yeah.
was
Right.
Okay.
the way
But
they
also,
got to that title.
Microsoft were on a tip with this at that time as well, of calling everything one all the time as it being like a thing. Like with their other stuff, they were calling
What do you
there was like one care and all that kind of thing. It was all they were going for that.
OneDrive.
OneDrive.
Yeah. It was yeah. Let's
Jesus?
play.
We love the immersive worlds, the epic battles, and the thrill of competing with our friends. With Xbox One, you're going to experience a new generation of gaming like you've never seen before. And you're going to see that in a little bit and a lot more at E3.
That would have been funny though, Matt, if
For
they
now,
said,
though,
"We want to
I
be
wanna show you how we
HDMI
take
1."
that passion for gaming and apply it to your
I swear that was a line they were using. Like,
I
we
think
want to
you're-
be
Matt,
in your
you're
first
right.
HDMI
of the
port.
new
I do remember them
Xbox
saying
and
that.
Kinect.
Yeah.
Now let me set up the aspiration. What if a single device could provide all
Hasn't
your
he got
entertainment?
long fingers?
And what if that device could
Ooh.
turn on your TV and
Yep,
talk
can't
to
unsee that now.
in your living room? And
He's
what
a
if it was
Duke
always
user,
ready
isn't
and
he?
connected? Well, now it's all going to be with two simple
Yeah,
words.
he designed it.
Xbox
He's
on.
like, yeah, it's fine. It's
Oh, man.
perfect size.
I gotta say, I still loved that. I still loved walking into my front room and saying Xbox on. and
Yeah,
Xbox
yeah,
on,
I did
and
it.
Turning my
And it's
TV
that
on.
simple.
It was
Yeah, I liked it
Xbox
too.
One instantly
This was
recognizes
the
me
original
and gets
interface,
me to
wasn't it?
my
Which
own personal home
I don't know.
No
It
more
wasn't that great,
manual
was it?
login,
Although
No,
I
the
still
original
system
interface
or
weren't
game
good.
updates.
Game of
Now,
Thrones.
the
Do you
home
remember
screen,
that?
as you can see, has a familiar interface.
Yeah, no one talks about that
A couple
anymore.
of unique differences. First of all, it'll remember what I was last doing. So for example, here in the center of the screen, you can see I was playing one of my favorite racing games. This one here is just one of the new amazing Xbox One exclusives. You're about
It
to
doesn't
hear a lot
count
more about.
apparently, according to James.
You can
Doesn't,
also
no.
see
Can you
I was
take that
listening to
down?
music,
It
playing
doesn't
jazz,
count.
and watching a movie. Now, like many of you, I also
woefully
discovered new entertainment based on what my
misrepresented me again
friends
there.
like. And for that, we
That
created a
means you
new
said it.
area called trending.
You misunderstood.
Oh my God, he did the swipe.
You
Yeah,
did?
the
What,
swipe
is
didn't work.
popular in the entertainment world,
No.
both with my friends and with the entire Xbox Live community.
The swipes didn't work.
Of course,
Do you remember?
Never.
still
You
browse
had
the
to
great content I've
literally
come to
hold
love
your
on
arm
Xbox,
up,
such as games,
right, and angle it 90 degrees
and
and move
movies,
it right. You couldn't
and
just do
music.
what he's doing there. It wouldn't work.
Xbox Go Home. Now that you've seen the start screen and home experience, let's do what millions of people do every day when they turn on their TV. Guess what? They watch TV. It sounds simple and obvious.
I mean, that's
Because of the need to change
embarrassing,
to
isn't
get
it?
to live TV. All
Guess
that
what?
is gonna
Wow.
change with Xbox One. Let me show you. Xbox, watch TV. And with that simple command, I'm watching
You did
live
that, didn't
TV.
you, Jay? You watched TV for your Xbox, didn't you? Loads, didn't you,
Oh my
Dave?
god, yeah, because it works really well with the
Now here
TV.
in Seattle, I'm a
So
Comcast
I could literally
subscriber.
say
This is the programming
Xbox
available-
put
Well-
BBC, CBeebies on or whatever.
There
and
was
it would-
also the digital tuner as well, and that worked. Like you could do this. It did work,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah,
was
so it,
just,
Yeah, I
it
had-
didn't
I had
have
that.
like an aerial, did it? You just had an HDMI pass through in it, so you could plug another
Yeah.
device into it, and then
That's
that would-
right, yeah, but it also had RF.
Oh, it did.
Is it RF beams on it?
yeah,
okay.
there was one you could connect to like just a coax cable. To
Okay,
as well.
alright, fair
It's,
enough.
yeah,
Oh yeah, remember that, James? No,
I do remember. Yeah.
it could also change the channels on your TiVo. So although it was only a pass through,
Okay.
it could then enter inputs into that TiVo. So I could literally say, Xbox put it on BBC One, and then it would change the channel to BBC One. I mean, it'd be a bit freaky because it was like it was punching in the buttons on your remote control that was the other side of the room because it would come up with the numbers individually.
It was like an
But it
IR
worked.
blaster. You know, like it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's what it was, but it fucking worked. And if I still maintain it, if my Xbox Connect lasted longer than 7 months because for some reason they started disconnecting and being all weird.
Yeah, yours had loads of troubles, didn't it?
Yeah, I got a second one and it did exactly the same thing. But when it worked, like if it was still working, I would still have my TV running through that because it was just a brilliant way to.
But you see, the thing is the microphone stuff, all that kind of stuff, was quite cool. Is a good idea, and you get like Alexa and stuff like that now, which is really similar.
You had it at the time.
All
That's
they needed
what's so
to do
frustrating.
was. But all they needed to do was just put a good microphone in that machine. They
That's
didn't
what
need
I'm
to have
saying.
Connect. You know, it was.
Well, I mean, at the time, like, I can't believe they didn't have like a microphone in the pad. If, like, say, Connect wasn't on
Forget
or
it,
not
you
plugged
don't
in.
need it in the pads. You just whack
put
it in the console
machine.
itself.
Yeah.
You treat,
Or
you
that,
tr-
yeah.
You treat your Xbox like an Alexa or whatever, and it's perfect because we've all fallen in love with these little home assistant things that we've got around the house, and they've been massively successful. But you have that inside the Xbox, and perfect. You get to control your Xbox like that. It's great.
You know, like a lot of the people that worked on Connect ended up going over to Amazon. You know, to work on Alexa. It's like,
so I'd heard that. Yeah,
it was.
I mean, that's where they failed. They focused on the wrong things. You know, to be able to control everything with your voice, I think works really well. And we were saying this at the time when we were mad that we were using that quite a lot.
I mean, I use it on the 360 to control Netflix. I'm sure. I mean, it was on there. Was it on the 360?
Yes.
Or was yeah. I use it on that, and when you guys came up to Leeds that weekend, and I was doing it, and James was like, "You don't actually do this in real life." I'm like, "I do. I say like Xbox pause and play and stuff." And yeah, and I use this a fair bit. I loved it at the time, and then Jill wasn't happy with like listening the whole time, so we took it away. But yeah, it did feel sort of before its time, especially with, as you say, all the voice assistants these days.
See, for the privacy stuff, I think like the camera is a much harder sell as well than like just a microphone. You know, saying that you're going to have like a camera there all the time in front of people. I know we do anyway. With like
I've got my PS4 camera on top of my TV. It's
but
there.
this felt like another level
really
of intrusion.
I've never been one of those people that's put sticky tape over their Mac. They're like, you see those people with their laptops.
Oh, I've started doing that recently, actually.
Oh, Matt.
No, only because I got an email that scared me.
What was the email?
I got an email. I got it was clearly like spam or whatever, but it was like it basically said it was written in broken English, but it said you've got like 12 hours to. Because I think it came through to the TCGS email, so I'm like, okay, it can't be me. It can't be me. Because it would have come through to my personal. Anyway, basically said you got 12 hours. I was going to send pictures to all your friends, to give us some Bitcoin.
Well, I got one that was like, oh yeah, we detected you accessing pornography, and we turned on your webcam and got a video of you watching pornography. And when you're just like, mate, no one wants to see that. That's not of interest to anyone.
Yeah.
If anything, I was like,
just reply saying, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah, you wasted your time, mate.
Yeah, I've never been bothered about stuff ever, but when I got the email, I was like, I mean, I'm 99% sure that's just bollocks, and surely it would come to my personal email, not the podcast one. I was like, maybe I will put a sticker over it now. Anyway, I mean, I don't do that stuff anyway.
Microsoft conference.
Sorry.
Can we get back to this?
Sorry.
For my area, but hold on. Let me show you how we're going to take live TV and make it not only integral to the Xbox, but also incredibly useful.
I got really confused for a second. I thought the thing in the top left was actually the conference.
Yeah.
Go to TV. Go to music.
It was never that quick.
You couldn't do any of these commands. You had to say
it was never like that.
Yeah.
They're clapping now.
They are.
It was so good. Let's see it again.
Look, even she's
Go
keen.
to Internet Explorer.
Go to Internet Explorer.
Oh, nice. Watch TV. Watch movie.
Thing is, this
Not only that, right?
TV and all
Forget
my games
the fact
entertainment is
that
now as fast
you
as
didn't
switching
control it like
channels
that.
on your TV
There's
remote.
no way the Xbox
Now,
had
you've
the
only
power
seen
to
how
switch
simple it is
apps
to
that
use
quickly.
No way.
Never at any
navigate
point.
through the Xbox
You go
One.
to
But we're
TV.
gonna create a new set of universal gestures
I'm sorry,
to
something
control
went
your
wrong.
entire experience.
Yeah.
Gestures such as grab,
error code
dip,
X49994X.
Let me show you one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the
Here's an
Xbox one
example
of the
how I
first
can
to
get
use those
easily back
stupid
to my home
codes,
screen
though.
from anywhere
We all
in the
grew
system.
to
I simply
absolutely
spread my
completely
hands,
despise.
grab
You
the
got
screen,
error, jelly
and I'm back home.
baby. Please go to our website and look for jelly.
And if I want to get
Oh,
back
just
to
like
my
shut up.
movie,
Guys, you're missing the
I
Kinect
grab
controls.
Hang on, why
and
are
I'm
they
back to the
excited
movie.
about this?
And again,
It's staff,
Because it
James.
seemed
this is not only
interesting
now
at the
simple, but it
time.
makes it instant to get what you want. Now, have you ever
I
wanted to
guess.
do more than one thing
That's
at a
not a
time?
good
on
Also,
one
they're all
TV?
paid actors or whatever.
Of course you have.
Yeah.
On Xbox One, the ability to do multiple things at once on your TV is now a reality. Introducing
But this had
That's,
lots of
that's what I
potential.
wanted from my TV. Productivity.
Xbox.
fuck's
Snap
sake.
No,
internet
but snap mode was genuinely useful.
Yeah,
for
it was
some
really annoying when
stuff.
they took it away.
programs alongside one
Yeah,
another
I
and
don't.
easily
Well,
interact between them
I
without
assume they took it
having
away
to
for
shut one
processing
down
problems.
and start
I mean,
another.
it would have been good just for Twitch,
Xbox,
to be honest.
my
You
favorite
know,
Yeah,
that
but
you can, like-
I still have
Star
no
Trek.
idea why they
Okay, so
didn't
right now
have
I'm
a
watching
Twitter
Star
app on
Trek,
it, so
and I've
you
heard
could
great
watch
things
TV
about
and
the
have your Twitter
sequel,
feed on
Star
the
Trek
right hand
Into
side.
Darkness.
They did,
So
didn't
now
they?
I can use internet.
No,
No,
they
wait, no.
never- they never got
In this
Twitter onto it.
conference, if I remember correctly, don't you do like a fantasy football thing in NFL?
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
and- but,
yeah.
and- but then, but that stuff never came to UK, and I'm fairly sure they might have had like a ticker, like had like maybe tweets coming out on the bottom related to football or something. But yeah,
Yeah, but there was never an official Twitter app that you could just snap to the right hand side. So, like, maybe you could just follow a hashtag of a show that you're watching at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Right,
the
yeah.
best utilisation of that alongside TV. So,
Yeah.
they
But
fucked
also,
with
the
that
other
one.
problem with it is they always show like snapping, like Internet Explorer and stuff. But then if you look, it's really difficult to read any of the stuff because it's all
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah, totally,
It
yeah.
was, it wasn't great.
Explore, and my cell phone is a remote control, for example, to
How are
watch
we
a
being
trailer.
positive about this?
And I can
We're-
even
we're not
navigate
being
to
terribly
find movie
positive,
times
but,
and buy
I mean,
tickets.
Windows
and
Phone
again,
there.
at any given time now, if I want to go
Yeah,
home, I
good
just
the good old days.
and I'm home.
Oh, that thing was awful.
All right.
Yeah, that
worked.
that never worked. No.
Now I'd like to introduce for you another amazing thing you can do on your Xbox.
Play games. Oh no, wait.
Do you remember that
Xbox
month
One
where we
connects you
had
to
to
family
use
and
Skype
friends in
for a
ways
reason
you
that we
weren't gonna
can't
find
talk
on other
about?
TVs.
Matt,
Not only do you get
we had to
Skype
use
experiences
Skype
in
for about
widescreen
a
HD
month or
with
two,
the best living
and
room
oh
camera
my
available,
word, it
but
was
only
just
on
the
Xbox
worst
will you be
way
able to
to
do
play it on
video
Xbox
calls
Live,
on
like
your
to
TV.
talk over
Let's take a
Xbox
look at
Live.
Skype in
It's
Yeah.
just a fucking nightmare.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my movie and zoom back to it. And to help you show it off, I've asked my friend DJ, one of the members on our sports team, to call in and help me demonstrate.
See, this
right
this
on
was
cue,
really like
DJ calls
Microsoft
in.
showing what they really cared about,
Xbox.
which is like
Answer
All their
questions.
various products.
Yeah.
yeah, and like and how they like
Hey, DJ,
engineered all this so that
thank
it's
you for calling in
basically
and help
like
me show off
Windows on
Skype
your
and
TV,
Snap mode.
Yeah, yeah.
but no
Looks
one
like you're
cared.
working pretty hard out there.
Hey, Yusuf, thanks for having me.
The thing I love about this is, I mean, how many times I've lost count the amount of times I'm watching a film and then I want a Skype conversation with someone.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the video-
really want someone
I
to
can do
interrupt
both.
this.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm
They've
loving
been trying
the
to
new
push
Star
this
Trek.
For years, haven't they? Do you remember like the Wii U tried to do this?
Yeah, there was that as well. Yeah.
You know, they've been trying to push video calling via your consoles for a long time, and it's just awful.
Microsoft did it, and yeah, Nintendo did it. I don't think Sony have ever bothered, but it's funny because also you think about like Apple, they've never bothered either, like trying to put anything like that into. They've never bothered to try and put anything like that into Apple TV. Like it's always just been.
No, not into their FaceTime. No, but
yeah,
but
they got
they've
exactly
whacked
they got
FaceTime everywhere.
But it's
Which,
like
to
they
be
figured
fair,
out
people
that it's
use.
like you do it on a device rather than on like a TV is maybe not really where you want to do it.
No, it isn't, because we all look like shit watching telly, don't we? I mean, let's face it.
I remember.
No
I
one
remember
sits
using
like
this.
that. Look at the guy in the corner. No one sits like that watching telly ever.
No
I'm
way.
sitting like that now, Dave.
Yeah,
Just relax.
you're laying down on the sofa with crumbs all over your belly, your t-shirt half
Top
riding
off.
up,
Top
dick
off.
out. Yeah.
Laptop. No. Yeah, I mean,
This is your bigs.
yeah. Well, what I liked about this is that I did it a few Skype calls, and it did that zooming thing, didn't it, based on action in the room.
Oh god,
So
that's
it
really
like
funny.
it'll move around, zoom in, zoom out. If someone's moving, it's like, and if like for like children or other people in the room, it's like it was just moving all over the place.
It was more vom-inducing than PSVR.
Yeah,
You'd
it's
just be
insane.
looking at someone, it'd just be all over the place.
You know, it looks like you're doing okay yourself. I'm looking forward to you showing off the great work we're doing with our partners at ESPN.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's what's coming up next.
Xbox Go Sports.
That's great. Just make sure when you get to fantasy, you show the real version. You know, the one where I'm in first place.
Yeah.
Oh,
Skype
banter.
and call. Let me go ahead and show you that Xbox sports offering that DJ was talking about. Xbox, watch ESPN.
Imagine it was that quick.
Imagine I'm at home watching an NBA game during the regular season.
Because I'm just
But
a
if you're like me,
normal
I like to keep up
guy.
with my fantasy
Yeah,
team.
I'm just
Yeah,
a
look.
normal guy. I'm just sitting
Right.
watching the
But the thing is, right? If this was happening, if this was like happening now, for like Premier League or you know English football, I'll get a fantasy on the right hand side and football on the left. That it would be amazing. But these things never come to the UK.
Now I get my fantasy players.
They never did, but also you can just pick up your phone and look at this stuff. You don't need it on the TV.
No, but it'd be pretty awesome if, like, my points. I mean, I'm obsessed with fantasy football, but if that was like, on the right side, it updated the points, the leagues as it's showing now, with Premier League or Championship or whatever football on the left hand side, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, but I'd rather have like the TV like full screen so you can see the whole picture and then just like have a glance at my phone if I want to.
But then I'll be looking at my phone a lot. This way I can do both.
Yeah, but it makes the other screen crappy and small, doesn't
And
it?
here's how he helps me dominate.
Did
the
he
fantasy
just shout
league.
dominate?
Plays like that.
Dominate!
Always very nice. All right, now what you're seeing though is just one
was weird.
example of what we can do with
So again,
live
this
TV.
is
But
this
can
is
you
what
imagine
the
we could
other
do with
complaint was.
Super
It's
Bowl?
like we're 15 minutes in, not a single mention of any games apart from Forza.
True,
like
yeah,
briefly.
that was a big problem.
Yeah, that's a
15
very good
minutes in,
point.
it's just
But
been on
I still
TV.
maintain there's some good ideas here.
Go on.
I don't
or
think
the
so.
Golden Globes, or even with political debates, with this ability to have interactive TV. All right, finally, let's tackle what I think is the biggest challenge with watching TV. Anybody?
The wife.
For me, it's
Sorry.
David!
introducing the Xbox One.
I mean, that's just true. That's my situation.
Xbox, show the guide. Now you can find,
The
discover,
guide
and
came
watch
to the
TV
UK.
in 3 powerful
Yeah.
ways.
Which just wasn't very good.
Voice control, search
You might as well
and
just use the
navigation,
one on your TiVo.
favorites, and trending.
I want to watch.
With the Xbox One
What's
guide,
the-
I
what
see
the fuck
all
is
my
Raptor
local TV
Roundup?
listings right through my Xbox, and I can use my voice to check out what's on.
See, I'm sure James would say, look, why not just use TV Times? Just use TV Times separately. You can use the whole TV for the TV program.
Or just look at your
Watching
phone.
TV.
You know, it's like
Check the centre pages
What's
of
on
your
HBO?
newspaper, of your Daily Mail.
Pretty cool, huh? Let's see that again.
just use your phone. You know.
You're totally right, though. No game mentions. It's shocking.
Watch CBS. Show
It's
the
just been
guide.
fucking quiz shows and everything.
See
It's
how
just
easy that is? No more memorizing channels or hunting for remote control. The next thing I want to show you is how I stay on top of
Going
all
to
the series
TVs
that
and
I love
remote
to
controls
follow.
for a second.
Mm-hmm.
How have we not
Xbox
got TVs where
favorites.
we press a button on the top of the TV and it makes the remote like make us a little sound?
That's a
I've
very
said
good
this
point.
for about
Yeah.
15 years, Sean. I've said it for about 15 years. It should be a button on the telly, you do it, and it just goes beep, 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 beep. Perfect.
Yeah.
I can't believe that is not a thing.
Yeah, I wish it was. I mean, on Apple Watch, you can press a button to basically make your phone beep and vibrate, and I use that way more than I thought I ever would. And I usually have my phone on
Same,
me.
same with Android Wear as well. Yeah.
I really,
one of the
I
most
mean,
useful features.
yeah.
Is that.
I thought
It's
my phone's obviously usually glued to my hand, but if it isn't, I'm like, okay, beep, and yeah, I've used that loads. Yeah, why haven't it's got that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
The favorites area is an easy way to keep up with all the
I assume
TV
it's because
shows that I
the
like to
remote
watch.
isn't set up to
All I
receive
do is
anything, is it?
pin
It's
the
just an
content in
infrared
one convenient
projector.
place. It's a lot like having my
So-
own
yeah.
personal
God,
channel.
is that
So you're thinking like Wi-Fi
Well, yeah,
chips in
considering
remotes.
considering everything
Xbox
else
trending.
televisions can do now, it's not a huge
Trending
stretch.
gives me a
Is it?
glance at what everyone in the Xbox Live community is watching. I like how current it is. It's up to the minute. From here, I can instantly jump into the most popular shows. But trending isn't just on live TV. There's also a section for video game. So I can see if people are watching no matter what time of year.
James is dead.
Xbox
He's had enough. He's
there
fucking
you
had
have it.
enough.
The all-in-one system where it all comes together. Games, movies, music, web, and now, Skype and live TV. The one place where you are now at the center
You
of your
turned into a
entertainment. The
3-year-old
one
when
place
you
where it's
laughed.
simple and instant to connect with your
That
friends.
was a really funny
This is the
hand
beginning
gesture
of a
he
new
did.
generation of games and entertainment. TV. Now I'd like to welcome Mark to the stage to show you the magic and science that makes all
Good
of
work.
this possible behind the Xbox
James is
One.
loving it.
Sorry, smoothly covered.
Professional.
Here comes Mark
Who's
Whitson.
Mark Whitton? I don't remember him.
Is he going to talk about games? Let's find out.
At Xbox, we're focused on how you play.
Suit jacket does not look good on him.
We're
Tuck
driven
your shirt.
No.
in.
Tuck it in. Tuck it in, mate. It's not hard.
Smart devices, new content, and new ways to interact with all of your entertainment.
The way his cuffs are over his
Oh,
Have you
jacket.
that
noticed
makes
that
me
they're
feel
getting
sick.
more and more casual as they come out?
There's
Yeah.
an amazing amount of technology that enables all that you've just seen.
Oh, tuck the
I'm
shirt
thrilled to be the
in.
one to show you under the hood and give
Get
you a
rid of the
taste of
cuffs on
powers
the
of new Xbox.
blazer.
There are 3 ambitious investments
Wear the
we made
hoodie
to drive
you
a
were
new
built to
generation of
wear.
entertainment.
Go on.
Console and the
Look,
revolutionary
Is he going to
Xbox
talk
One
about games or
architecture.
more TV stuff?
Second,
I don't know, we're talking
advances
over
in
him.
the most important input devices, Kinect,
Yeah, but this is called a talkover, Matt. I think that's the whole point.
I love the way
But I need to-
Matt just went from taking the piss to like, oh, come on, let's hear the guy out. Come on.
I need to hear what he's saying. Right, let's hear this. Everyone pay attention to Mark Whitson.
and third,
Right, stop
Okay.
pausing it.
Can I not just keep making fun of his
invented by the
clothes?
power of the cloud. So starting with our system.
Oh, here we
It's
go.
Connected and ready. It's an elegant design that meets the needs of the new generation.
It's not an elegant
The heart
design.
of that system is raw power. From
Raw
500
power?
million transistors
Raw
and
power
512
slightly
gigs of
less
RAM
than
in
the
Xbox
PS4.
360 to over 5 billion transistors and 8 gigabytes of RAM in Xbox One.
Wow.
USB 3.0,
No cheering.
Wi-Fi Direct, a Blu-ray drive,
What's
a native
Wi-Fi
64-bit
Direct?
architecture, and very
I don't know.
You can connect to the you can connect
This
to
is a
Wi-Fi
modern,
straight to the
powerful
Xbox
box
or some shit. I
engineered to
can't
deliver
remember.
now and well into the future.
That's how every console works.
But
No,
how
not
we
connect
marshal that
the
power?
router to your
How we
console. You
create
could
the
connect
system that works to
Wi-Fi
deliver the world's
devices to
greatest
your
games
console. I
and
think that was
provides
Oh,
the
I
ability
see.
to power entirely new connected experiences. To do this, we've brought technology from across Microsoft to create an industry first. The soul of the new system is the Xbox One architecture. 3 operating systems in one.
Oh, God. It was never going to work, was it?
This was a great idea, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 operating systems in one.
To the hardware so that creators have no limits in harnessing the power of Xbox One for cinematic
I was
realism.
going to say, is this Ori and the Blind Forest? I mean, it's a
is the
cutscene
kernel of
from it.
Windows,
It's not the game.
Providing consistent access to web-powered applications and experiences. Flexible, powerful, simple. The third connects these 2 operating systems to create instant switching, multitasking, and effortless control. Only Microsoft and Xbox could bring this level of power, performance, and sophistication to the living room.
I don't know.
And it
Sony
changes
did it.
everything.
And more.
Yeah, but how many OSs do they have, Dave?
New experiences
Just
that-
one. Just one, Matt.
Oh, rubbish.
There's no waiting. You can switch to your game like it's a TV channel flip.
Right, here we go.
You can
Games.
snap Internet Explorer in the
Oh
new
no,
Star Trek.
Internet
No,
Explorer.
back to IE, yeah.
So again, it's
How
just
did
all
the TV
tech.
know
This is
Yusuf
what
and
they care
react to
about.
his voice?
Who has
Yeah.
ever
We're
used
bringing a new
Internet
Connect
Explorer?
sensor paired with every Xbox One, which puts you.
You could
at
use
the
it for
center of
streaming
your
websites,
entertainment.
Dave. It was quite useful for
Connect
that.
is completely
Oh, yeah, I forgot
redesigned
Yeah, enough
to
of that.
respond
Enough of that
instantly
smart.
to you, your voice, and your
Who else
gestures.
has seen this filth?
Voice is now more conversational. It's faster and it supports the entire family. And our new proprietary time of flight measures the time.
Oh, it's got time of flight technology.
what's-
billionths of a
Yeah, I was going to
second.
say, what the hell is
It takes
time of
individual
flight
photons
technology?
to bounce off of you
Don't you
to
know,
create
Sean?
unprecedented
Come on,
accuracy
you're
and
No.
supposed to be a
over
geek.
2 gigabits of data per second to understand your
I'm going to
world.
Google it.
This is rocket science.
No, Bing
level
it.
stuff.
The rocket science
Games
level
applications will
stuff.
create new
They
experiences
were
like you've
overhyping
never
this,
seen
weren't they?
before.
Yeah.
3 years ago, Kinect ushered in a new capability to make you the controller. Let's take
I
a
still
peek
think
at
that's
Okay,
the
so right, time of flight, that's the distance and
We
3D
started with the
mapping
ability to
sensor.
see your world.
And you can
Now
get
that
one
world is
for
crisp,
£4.33
clear, and
from Amazon.
A 1080p
Let's build a new Kinect.
wider field view capture of your world.
Yeah, let's do it.
As you saw with
that
Yusuf's
easy.
Skype call, Kinect's camera and Skype offer the best shared communication experience in the living room.
No, it doesn't.
In 2010,
So
Kinect
this
layered
was,
in
they did
broad
actually put some onboard
understanding of how you
processing in it this time, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they
did,
did,
yeah.
yeah.
15, we
It was
I know that was a
significantly better
thing.
than the first one.
Yeah.
more joints.
Yeah.
That's why it's
Oh,
so
but
heavy.
didn't they
still.
say, oh, it can read your heart, but
Understanding
it,
the slightest rotation of a wrist
Yeah.
or a shoulder. We understand your balance, the transfer of weight from one foot to another.
On the left is Xbox graphics, on the right is PS4 graphics.
we did say we did say at the time. We did say at the time that like why? What would be the point in any of this? Like what
Yeah.
what would be the point in knowing our heart rate and stuff like that? It was
But again, that's the Microsoft as a technology company thing, isn't it? It's just they care about just new stuff rather than what it's for.
Yeah, and the
necessarily.
problem is, like, they pitched all this stuff to developers in the same way. And so developers started coming up with all this mad, weird, potentially interesting shit. Like, you know, Milo and Kate.
Yeah.
That was because they were under the impression that it was going to be able to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
We can't talk about input innovation without smart glass.
Hang on. Was Milo and
Smart
Kate original
glass.
Xbox?
Oh my god, do you remember
It
Smart
was.
Glass?
Was it 360 or was it this? Milo and Kate.
Milo and Kate was 360. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when they first announced it.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. I've forgotten how. I mean, that's outrageous, isn't it? When you look back at that, we might have to watch
It
that
is.
again.
Yeah,
'cause
That'd be a good one to go back to.
again.
Yeah.
We unveiled smart glass to enable
Smart
your
glass,
devices
man.
to
Do you
work
remember
together
that
with
phrase?
your Xbox. Your tablet can instantly become
So
a
much
remote
potential.
control and a deep companion
Oh yeah, this
experience.
is so the tablet integration.
To be fair, they
That-
did essentially do most of
Yeah,
this.
this example,
Yeah.
I think this is like Game of Thrones, and they say like, oh, when you're watching a show, you can look at the map. I don't give a fuck about the map. I want to see the battle.
Yeah. Well, it was everyone was trying to do like second screen stuff, weren't they? And it,
But with this
but
new
yeah.
generation,
I
one
still
really
think
cares.
Didn't really take off.
Microsoft's second screen stuff works way better than Sony's or Nintendo's.
Controller, smart glass.
The Xbox app is definitely better. It's definitely better than the
PlayStation,
PlayStation one.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But the real magic is what happens when all of these devices work together to create.
Plus,
all
yeah,
new
like the most interesting
The
PlayStation
new
second
Kinect
screen
sensor
stuff
is the
usually
binding
requires like
power
a
between
separate
these
app,
devices.
doesn't it? Specific
Yeah.
to the game as well. It's not like
Which is still quite similar to Xbox, but I tend to control my Xbox through my app way more than I do.
Okay.
I use that app way more than I do the PS4
What are you?
app.
What are you?
Yeah.
You're using it to look at captures, but how are you using it to control your Xbox?
Well, you just go to, well, for starters, it's easier to type stuff in. So you go to, on the top right, there's a little controller symbol. You click that, and it turns into a controller essentially.
All right.
And then you can, and then on that there's a keyboard that, so if you need to type stuff in, you can just type it in through that. I tend to use that a lot at the starter games where there's lots of like text entry stuff. And then
Never used it that
then-
way.
Yeah, you can flick back to the pad view on the actual app, and you just swipe down as if you're pressing down or whatever. You do that, and then the buttons are all on the side of the panel that you're pressing on, and you can essentially just control through, like, navigate through that game until you get to actually playing. Then you pick the pad up. That's what I tend to do anyway. I find it way simpler.
You can do that with the PS4 like remote play app and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's just not great.
It doesn't connect as quick. It's not as responsive.
But also, I've just found the Xbox app is just generally more useful in the sense of like stuff that I want to see. Whereas with the PS4 one, like when you open that and you go on like what's new, it's like
and it's just
not
jargon.
interesting at
whereas,
all. Like,
whereas the
don't
Xbox
care.
app just chucks up your mates' like achievements and captures
and stuff,
straight
yeah,
away.
yeah.
I love all that stuff. And now that you could download those videos, that's excellent too. And of course, like, it feels like once you open that app, you stay within the app. Whereas the PS4 one, it like keeps like booting you out to some website, and then it's got another browser thing.
That's the other thing that's weird because like PlayStation like broke out all the stuff, didn't they, into like separate apps. Like it's like they were trying to do a Facebook with it.
Yeah, the messenger
it's like,
stuff.
And it's like, why? There's no need to do
No,
that at all.
totally.
It's
Instantly.
That's ridiculous.
Anyway, go on with it.
And your troops follow your commands. Raise your controller, and a virtual shield follows.
Speak, and your troops
devices
follow
work in
your
harmony to create
command.
a lag-free,
Hey, troops.
instant, and complete experience.
To be fair, Halo
Lag
was good.
free. Lag free.
Now,
Are we gonna see some footage of some actual games or what?
No.
to truly evolve
Nearly half an
the
hour in,
next generation
and
of
it's
games
just
and
nothing.
entertainment, you need
I mean, to be
access
fair,
the
we're
most
5-6
powerful
years away
entertainment
from
service.
this, and we still haven't
The
seen
new
footage for many
Xbox
games.
Live is built on Xbox One to amplify an all-new generation. Based on the same membership you have today, but now more powerful, more personal, and more intelligent. When we launched Xbox Live in 2002,
What does that
it was
mean?
powered by 500 servers. With
Not
the
bad
advent
for
of
them.
I don't think even he
360,
knows.
that
Yeah,
number
if you
has
listen
grown
to him,
over
James,
3,000.
he might explain in a
Today,
second.
Yeah.
15,000
James.
servers power the modern Xbox Live experience. But this year, we will have more than 300,000 servers for Xbox One.
There you
More
go,
than the
mate.
entire world's
There you go.
computing power in 1999.
Exciting,
What
isn't it?
servers?
Someone just wolf
Let's
whistled
talk
that.
about the experience that enables all that power. Your content is available and it's stored
Someone's
in the
heard that
cloud so you
statistic.
can
Like, that
access
is
your
sexually
movies,
exciting
your
to me.
music, your
That's-
games, your saves,
Oi, oi.
anytime, anywhere. As
This
it
is
seems,
terrible,
Live
isn't it?
brings all
Like in the
those
sense of
It's
like
really
revealing
bad.
something. It's really
Yeah.
terrible.
Everything across games and
Maybe we should have started with the
intelligent
Konami
TV.
one.
Yeah.
At least that's
And playing
funny.
games is brought to a whole new level. Just
this has been
imagine.
25
You will
minutes
now
of
have a dedicated game
no
DVR
games.
to capture and access your magic moments and
Yeah.
save them to the cloud.
Is it? This was always
With our
exciting.
native
Oh,
editing
like my
sharing
games are
tools,
constantly
you'll
being
have the
recorded.
most
Even now, I'm
amazing
like,
bragging rights
is it
on
recording
Xbox
constantly
Live.
or not?
Achievements
Yeah.
become dynamic
Yeah,
and changing.
and you could you
They
could
tell your
change the
personal
settings to.
story
But it's not
of how
constantly
Change
recording.
the
It's only
settings.
recording if I
What
say
you've
Xbox
done.
record that or something, isn't it?
You'll
And
play
it like
with your
captures
matches
the last few
with the
minutes.
future of matchmaking.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
Well,
obviously
yeah, so it
got
has to be always recording.
Yeah,
always
Search
record.
for your
So.
perfect
It can't
match in your
retroactively
favorite game.
No, I guess yeah.
record stuff.
That is something that has been lost with Connect not being there, though, isn't it? Because that's a lot less easy to access.
Yeah,
than it
you got
used to
like
be.
press the home button, and then or the guide button, then like X.
You press
You
the
have to
guide
put-
and X, it is fucking piss easy.
Yeah, but it's not like Xbox record that.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's
You gotta
that was
leave the
easy.
game
And to be
to do
fair,
it
in on the PS4, you can set it so like you just double tap the share button. And
Yeah,
it,
yeah, that's
it
what I've
does
done,
it,
yeah.
you know, which is
Yeah.
good.
The next Xbox
Um,
pad will definitely have a share button, I bet.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll have some sort of record
Definitely.
button on it.
This means bigger matches with more players. It means living in persistent worlds.
Like Fallout 76.
Yep.
There you have
Anthem.
it. The breakthrough
Oh, there you go,
of
everyone.
one
It's got his
architecture.
mentioning.
Next generation inputs anchored by Kinect.
Juiced.
And a completely redefined Xbox Live. You've seen how we built it, but the real magic happens when you put that
No,
power
we
in
haven't.
the hands of the world's
No.
greatest creators. I'm proud to introduce Andrew Wilson from Electronic Arts.
See what happens
There
when
we
we
go.
put this power in the world's best producers. Slightly less resolution and frame rate than than our competition.
EA Sports.
Today marks the beginning of a brand new broad
The thing is, if you were
strategic
presenting this
between
right now,
EA and Microsoft.
right, you'd be worrying about using your hands to prove a point like this guy's doing, because fuck knows what you'd be doing to the
Very
Xbox.
good point, yeah.
You've just spent £40,000 on microtransactions
I've just bought
on
loads of
on the
DLC.
game that you developed.
I bought loads of Ultimate Team packs.
But for today, I want to start with the world's first
Oh,
look
blew
at
it.
EA Sports on Xbox One.
Absolutely.
He's not Jesse Wellens
With
yet.
Microsoft, the game should be intelligent, dynamic,
Much nicer
connected,
suit,
rich
to
with
be
Yeah,
fair. He's probably
yeah.
the best dressed man we've seen so far.
I agree.
Yeah, he's
I
a
agree.
hype. He works out.
None of them wearing
Like,
ties.
did you just hear what he just said? Like that
You're a
that
hottie.
was a load of
No,
nonsense.
because we're talking over it. What did he say?
That was well. He just basically said we share a common vision with Microsoft that games should be fun. It's like that's
We've had this new idea, guys.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I'm like those guys at Sony that think games should not be fun. what is your point
we
there,
think we agree with Microsoft. They should be.
Yeah. Ooh, yes.
We agree. We sat down with Microsoft and agreed that you should play games, and you should buy them for your system.
Not like
What do you
everyone
think,
else.
guys?
We think they should be fun. I mean, whatever, guilty as charged, whatever.
They tried to stop us, but we're gonna say it anyway.
Made the game shit. They said no, we're making them fun. Now fuck off.
FIFA, Madden NFL, NBA Live, and UFC.
FIFA 14 was pretty decent, to be fair.
I don't even remember FIFA 14. It was ages ago.
All four will launch in the next 12 months. All four will be revolutionary, and all four will fundamentally change.
Come on,
Well, there
Andrew
you go.
Wilson.
Might not remember it, but it was revolutionary,
First of all,
James.
this new generation will be powered
There was
I
no
thought it was-
journey in that one, Sean.
I thought it was a
No.
big step up. I thought it was a big step up on the new consoles. I remember buying it day one. Being very
I remember you
satisfied.
being quite excited about things like when you scored a goal, like the crowd would like leap up.
Well,
and
the
stuff
crowd
like that.
was massively
Yeah.
improved. Yeah.
Specifically to help us blur the line between real and virtual. For us, creating a new engine started
Real
by
and
examining
virtual,
what defines
okay.
sports at the highest level. Instincts and decision making, human intelligence, speed
What's this?
and
Is this
agility,
what's Ignite? Was this
true
like
player
pre-Frostbite or something?
dynamic
No
environments
idea.
that
No, I think
impact
connects like
how
real
the
life
game is
data
played.
with like the game
Living
stuff.
worlds. This is the essence
Oh,
of
yeah.
sports. Let's hear
I'm gonna
from
look
some
it
of
up.
the best athletes in the world.
We still haven't seen any gameplay footage.
Oop.
We are now 29 minutes into this.
Yeah. Ignite was a game engine.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. I
It
thought
was-
they owned Frostbite by this point, but I guess not.
No, this
Maybe
is
they
pre. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
pre-Frostbite.
And bought dice, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta pay attention
Right.
to the way the D line lines up, how the linebackers.
This is where the animations, but before the animations went so ridiculous that we get a full compilation with every release.
Cover 88. I go on for days with that stuff, and it is a really mental game, but you just got to make sure you don't get psyched out about it.
Yeah, I think the Ignite stuff, it was just for sports games. There's no...
Okay.
That was all that came out on it.
Oh my god, they got Messi.
Yeah, they had
talking
Messi.
about their fucking gaming.
They had the absolute goat.
No, yeah, but this is before Messi was any good. I mean, he was playing non-league at this time. He was a big Barcelona fan, that's why he had the kit, but he was non-league back then. Played for Accrington Stanley.
You're at an angle, they can't stay with you. I remember walking out to that arena, there's like these black curtains, and there's this guy, Burt Watson, in the back. He's like the hype man. He's like, you know, let's go, baby. It's your time. It's your time.
Yeah, I remember that
Let's
moment.
go, baby. If you don't want to be always connected to the internet, get a 360, baby.
Cloud gaming, bro. Let's go, boy.
Let's go, baby. Xbox Connect 2.0.
You want to control it, baby? Let's go.
Yeah, they really like leaned hard into the we just need TV and sports, and this is going to be huge, and that's all we need.
Well, they were going for a different audience, weren't they? They were shooting for.
They were shooting for
a
like
wider
mainstream,
range,
weren't they? Just
yeah,
like
they
everybody.
were.
Normal people.
Yeah.
Normies. Yeah. Now look what happened.
What we heard there is that sports are as much about your head as your feet or your hands. We've built new
And your body, and your legs and arms, and your brain, and your eyes and mouth.
And your ball back.
Human intelligence, like in the background there. That's
and the ability to make smart decisions with awareness, anticipation, and context.
Oh my god!
I like the way the text keeps like distorting as if the feed's fucked. What are they?
Yeah.
What's that supposed to demonstrate? Like
intensity.
Yeah.
That's why we're delivering 10 times more animation, depth, and detail.
That's really distracting and irritating, isn't it? It's just
Middle
Someone
one.
in the audience like,
Right
excuse
one
me,
coming.
mate,
Yeah.
mate, excuse me, mate, there's something wrong with you. Telly,
Can you fix
So on the feed. It's not the Konami event, Sean.
No, because there hasn't been any dancing yet.
Yeah. Or just weird blackouts. Yeah, that happened in that all the time.
that impacts the game as you play. We're inspired by the revolution.
Like, do you know, my favourite bit of that stream was when they brought that guy out, and that Japanese guy out, and it said he was the creator of Def Jam, and it just he just looked really confused. Oh,
Guys, player intelligence. Let's go.
We have much more to reveal from across EA very soon, including exclusive content for the most popular mode in the most popular sports game in the world, Ultimate Team in FIFA 14.
There we go. Look, cha-ching.
I do remember at this point thinking like, hang on, they're not even going to show us like gameplay of the new Xbox game. No, they're not even going to show us something in FIFA, surely.
Look for more details on that later this
So,
year.
have you ever played Ultimate Team? Because I never have.
Yeah, I have,
I've no interest in it.
It's not for
Is
me.
it worth
It's
it?
extremely frustrating.
Okay.
It's
Hello.
just no, but it's just
This
like
is all just pre-rendered, isn't it?
CGI stuff.
They're not
Yeah.
gonna...
I remember being so
Yeah.
disappointed at the time. Like, what? Show me actual stuff.
I mean, you can imagine how this is for me, who doesn't even like sports.
Yeah.
It's just
Loving it.
It's Sean, you've had
beyond
33.
nothing.
You've had 33 minutes of Skype TV game shows and football. It's not a great.
That's true. I've already been catered for with the early stuff. This is
I'll
is
be
for the
honest
real
with you.
gamers
I'm
now.
looking at this footage of, especially of FIFA,
Yeah.
and it already looks way better than this.
It does, yeah. To be fair, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You could say, "Oh, this is all pre-rendered cutscenes or whatever," but games actually,
Yeah, actually,
do look better than
I
this
don't
now.
remember
FIFA
seeing this much,
definitely looks better
so
than this.
I'm mistaken.
What's that? You're mistaken. What?
Well, my memory was that we didn't see any gameplay or any sort of graphical stuff at all. But obviously we got this. Maybe I was hoping for in-game.
Yeah, I mean, FIFA does look better than that.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing is, that looks like Pez.
It's in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome Phil.
Oh, what do they talk about now? Oh
Phil
my God!
Spencer.
Here he is.
I forgot to come out.
The absolute boy. Let's get him on.
This is funny because you know what's going through his head, because the moment we become head of Xbox, he just come out saying, "Yeah, we fucked all that up." So he must know
So this
now.
is the head of Xbox. Like, I love T-shirts.
Yeah, well, he's not in a t-shirt.
Well, you see, yeah, I was going to say, what's great about his outfit, right, is this is someone who's received advice that said, look, mate, you've got a bit of a gut, so open up the shirt collar, roll your sleeves up, it accentuates the upper half. I know this because I do it every day. So
It's worked for him. Like, it's definitely working for him, yeah.
No, he looks younger now.
He looks younger now because he dresses like a 12-year-old man.
He looks like a cool dude, though.
He hasn't gone full Jay Allard, though, has he?
I like the fact that he went up to the top and then just went, right, informal now. Like, I'm going to wear my t-shirts and jeans now.
they're all wearing fucking boot-cut trousers as well. Had slim trousers not come in?
Yeah, at this point,
Fucking hell,
basically...
when did we all care about fashion?
Yeah, but where did this come from, Dave? I mean, basically...
Dave, it's the most interesting thing of this whole presentation so far.
At this point, it looks like a bomb's gone off in Burton, frankly.
The interesting thing is that it looks like he's wearing 2 watches, Sean. I would say that's more interesting.
Oh my God, is he?
Well, maybe one.
I think it's just a bracelet. It's like a Rooney bracelet.
Maybe it's a posh Fitbit.
Than ever before, along with all your favorite franchises reimagined for a new generation.
Go on.
Let's take a look at one of those blockbuster exclusive
Here we go.
franchises
It's
now.
going to be Crackdown.
That has embodied innovation,
Yeah, I think it was Crackdown.
visual excellence.
No, it's definitely Forza.
Oh, it's Forza, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Graphical excellence.
Right, let's have a look and see if this looks shit.
No, it would look good because it's a racing game. These always look
Yeah,
bang.
but I mean, compared to what we've seen, like... No, it still looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This was massively disappointing, wasn't it? Forza 5.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the motorsport one, yeah.
It was when Horizon came out that I became much more interested.
That's when didn't count.
This is
The
the first Horizon was before this, though, right? Because it was on the 360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember this demo looking really super impressive, though. You can see all like the carbon fibre.
It went up against Drive Club, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which was not stiff competition at the time.
Oh no, it didn't go up against Drive Club. It was supposed to.
Yeah, Drive Club didn't make
Drive
it, did
Club
it?
was delayed
For a while.
nearly a
Oh
year.
God,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
It took about another year to come out, and then another year to get good, which it did in the end.
And they promised that it would be on PS Plus day one, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
changed that to a reduced version of the game will be on PS
Will
Plus.
be available
Yeah.
at launch, and we
There
can't
you go.
wait to show you more at E3. For many of us, the thrill of gaming is defined by those first ever game experiences. The first time you earned an achievement. The first time you took your Xbox to a friend's house to play multiplayer in Halo. The first time you painted
James, I don't think this was. I don't think this was only a couple of days before E3. I think this is like a good few months before E3.
Yeah, I think it
No,
was.
it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't.
Well, wouldn't they say you can see it next week or tomorrow? The way they're talking, it's like it's fair. It's way off.
Yeah.
I reckon this was March or April.
Oh no, look it up.
Right, what game are they showing now?
Visuals so real, you'll see the imperfections and effects of time.
Yeah, we
weather,
certainly saw the
wear and
imperfections.
tear on the world around you.
Rise?
Let me share a glimpse of the future of gaming from a studio that invented the hallmark gameplay technique, bullet time, and garnered numerous Game of the Year awards with Max Payne.
Oh fuck! Is this Quantum Break?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about
it
to
must
say,
be.
this
Yeah,
is Quantum
yeah.
Break,
Yeah.
right?
World-class storytellers.
I remember being
Yeah.
quite impressed by this when I saw it.
A revolutionary entertainment experience that weaves a cinematic action of intense gameplay.
Yeah, because this is the one that weaved it in with like all the TV stuff and
Yeah,
everything,
all the
wasn't it as well?
episodes,
Yeah.
Creating a world
yeah.
where each has a direct impact on the other. The actions you take and the choices you make.
I never
shape
fully
your
understood
experience
the
as
concept of
story
this.
unfolds.
What, the game or
Hey,
the TV
you can
combination?
like,
You
can
played
watch
the game
TV
and
show
watched the TV
alongside
episode.
It
Yeah.
really didn't make sense.
So after you play a game, like it basically that affects the episodes, and so like choices you make will be displayed in the show.
Okay, sweetheart, let's pack it in.
It was quite binary though, apparently.
What is it that makes you so different?
Are you sure you want to know?
Pretty sure.
Do a magic trick.
Wet Willy.
I could pull a 50p piece from your ear.
That's what that girl did just by pulling her mum's ear.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a magic trick.
I've killed people, mummy.
But they're just still stood by the house, and she's like, "What? What have you done?" I don't...
Time is the fire in which we burn. Oh God.
That's ripped off from Star Trek Generations and other things,
it?
probably. Yeah. It's what Dr. Soren says to.
Alright, nerds. Alright, nerds. Pipe down.
That's what Dr. Soren said.
See,
I mean, that trailer said nothing.
It didn't, did it?
What else was that?
Very
from?
unhelpful.
Do you think Phil Spencer is on stage now thinking we are fucked? Or do you think he's legitimately thinking that, yeah, this is going to kick ass?
If he knows they're fucked, he's putting on a good show. Like, he doesn't seem rattled at all.
No, you're right. But then he is a bit like a... I don't know.
Well, I like him.
He's like a... No, I like him too, but he is a bit of an armchair. Like, you look at him and you just go, yeah, you could do a job.
15 exclusives.
There's nothing exciting.
That's more than they've had in the last 5 years.
I was going to say, definitely name them now.
I wish we had 15 exclusives.
We believe that the television screen remains the most.
Yeah, but remember, this is before the phrase timed console exclusive, so maybe they were bundled into that.
Yeah.
TV come to life in ways that haven't been possible until now. To tell us more about our mission to transform television, please welcome.
Oh my
See,
God,
this is
they're
where
back to
they,
television.
but this is where they totally fucked it, wasn't it? Because they really seemed to believe it was like TV was like the most important thing, and they missed the whole point that everyone was just moving towards just like iPads and like tablets and stuff like that. It's like personal screens are the most important thing.
I was fortunate to work with some of the best creative talent in entertainment.
So they actually just dropped 15 exclusives as a little
They didn't show any.
factoid and then moved on.
Yeah.
And then moved that
That's
back.
it.
This is moving back to TV again. Like, because I remember she is now going to talk about all the TV studios they're building and everything to like create new content, but never turned up.
So even if they hadn't fucked it with the whole like DRM stuff,
Yeah, this was still
a
terrible.
bad show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how could they think this was going to work and appeal to gamers?
I think they didn't care because this was the point where I think they got high on the whole like Connect for 360 thing about like this is like the Wii. It's like reached this massive audience. We don't need the gaming stuff anymore, really. We're more than that.
Yeah.
They were definitely trying to, in a weird way, create a Wii.
Yeah.
Your tastes and your needs,
Yeah.
providing recommendations with amazing precision. And only on Xbox will TV become social in ways unknown to us today, driven and shaped by the community of tens of millions on Xbox Live. Xbox is about to become the next water cooler.
So just
And
think,
this
42
Yeah, I
minutes
mean,
in.
it became the next toy store.
Our talented teams in Los Angeles,
This is
Seattle,
agonising, isn't it, to watch,
are
really?
using the
3/4 of an hour and we've seen no games, like anything.
For what I'm saying. Yeah, it doesn't count, Matt.
It doesn't count. Forza never counts.
digital shorts. And one of our
Digital
first
shorts?
and most important
Yeah.
Talk about Xbox avatars, Matt.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
One of the foundations on which Xbox was built has been played for billions of hours by tens of millions of fans. Please welcome my friend and head of 343 Industries, Bonnie Ross.
So the hilarious
'cause
thing
it's-
here is that now they're going to talk about the Halo TV series, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've actually finally confirmed who's going to be playing the lead
Yeah,
and it's that
Well,
guy.
no,
from,
this was going to be
New
bigger
Black.
though, wasn't it? Because originally this was going to be like they were going to have like TV series and like films and all sorts of stuff. It was going to be like a massive thing, and then they shut the whole thing down because they realised no one cared.
Yeah.
For me, Halo has always been more than a game. It's an amazing experience that takes
That's where you're wrong.
place in a rich and
It's also been a lot of mediocre novels.
It's like, since I was hired to do this particular job, Halo has been much more than a game.
We tell these stories through our games, our novels,
It's been the bane
and
of
most
my
recently,
life.
our award-winning web series, Forward Unto
Did I tell you I'm currently playing through every single Halo game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how's it going?
Why? Halo 1 has way more, like going back, like retrospectively, it has way more like issues with the campaign than I remembered.
It's been inspiring
Really?
The repetition is insane.
There is
you
a
know
lot of
how
that,
everyone
yeah.
talks about the library level, how you're just seeing the same stuff over and over again. Pretty much every level, apart from the ones that people single out. Pretty much every level.
Guys, we're missing out on the innovative,
I just
Halo.
finish this. Just hit play.
No,
We don't
I
wanna
was
hear about
happy
the
for
Halo
Dave to
TV
crack on
series.
because I
Yeah,
don't give a shit about
that's
this.
more interesting. Yeah.
Like the repetition's insane. Like the environments are just repeated over and over again. It's crazy. And then we started Halo 2 last week, and it's instantly way more varied in terms of the single player campaign. Anyway,
Spielberg's on, boys.
Because hang on. Pause it. Because didn't they do the thing with the first game as well, where they do a lot of you go through the level in one direction for one bit, and then you just go
and
back
then you go all
same
the
way
way
you've come.
back. Yep.
And so,
they do that. They do that. They also do these weird bits, but you get in a Banshee.
Yeah.
And now I remember that being amazing, but all it is that you're in like a cylinder sort of area, and you've just got to fly the Banshee up to a ledge high up, and then you get out, and press a button.
But it was at the time.
And then you get
it was
back in
pretty
it and
new.
fly it back down. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Look, don't get me wrong. It's revolutionary, and it's still, and it will always hold that. It's just it was way harder to go back to than I thought it would be. And then we started Halo 2, and it was like, oh my god, this just feels so much fresher.
I absolutely
after
cannot
what
wait
we
to try
played.
Reach for the Reach remark, because I absolutely love Reach at the time. The
Reach was brilliant.
Yeah, the
It
Reach
was
remark
really
was
nice.
fantastic.
Not looking forward to ODST, and I
No,
know people don't
I just
like me
teased the
saying
only
that,
Halo I
but
haven't
was not
finished
a fan
because
of
my
that.
I really
my
like
save file
ODST.
corrupt.
Yeah, you're one of those.
Yeah, sorry.
I never finished it.
I wish I could be there with you today in person.
No, you
but
don't.
like all of you here today, I've been playing games for
Gotta make
decades,
another
and I
Animaniacs,
even
mate.
started playing Pong in
That's what people really want.
1974. And over the years,
Is he still
that
involved with it?
experience
I
has
assume he's not
exploded
still
from the
involved
simple
with this
pixels
Halo
of Pong
project.
to
I don't
worlds
think so.
as immersive
That's
as
what he's been
and
working on all this time.
interactive than those portrayed on the silver screen. And those stories have gotten more compelling as the technology has certainly improved. And so for me,
Maybe he just got really confused, and that's what Ready Player One was.
yeah.
Yeah. Just got carried away.
And myth making meet.
If we remove everything about the helmet except for the visor,
Yeah.
About the great journey we're all on, the
And then he went
heroes,
from there.
worlds, and wonders that Halo will take us on. Thank you.
fucking hell. Another thing that I picked up on when I was playing through the Halo games is that I very almost got that Halo symbol tattooed on me.
Ooh.
That would have been the
Right next
biggest
to the
mistake
Millwall
of my
one.
life.
Where would you have got it on your chest?
I'm a D. No, probably. I think I was thinking about getting it on my leg.
We've invented new ways for
there's still
fans
time.
around the world to engage,
No,
to enjoy
the ship sailed.
and
Ship
show
sailed
they
on that.
love.
Just get Halo 5 on.
Yeah, let's all get it.
For even more innovation to make Xbox your home for sports. It's my honor
Sports
to
again.
introduce a
Jesus.
game-changing partnership with the
Sports
most
is
Just
quite
realised
popular,
my
to be fair.
fucking Steam notifications are popping up in the bottom right. I'll be
be
fine. I'm sure no one will mind. the breach of privacy.
Unprofessional.
Yeah. Lesson
Is it
learned.
like Alan Partridge? Are people just calling you a wanker? Bell, you wanker.
We got more. See, Sean, you must have loved this presentation because
Yeah, it's great. Do you know what, while this is on, I'm just going to close
ago.
Steam and a bunch of other stuff.
We're trying
Fuck
to
it.
bring more
Who gives a
technology
shit?
to improve the experience for our fans
King
in
hell.
that stadium.
Microsoft over the last 30 years.
Look at that beautiful box.
I can't wait to rewatch that one.
I was going to say that's next.
one we have to watch again because I watched that recently actually, the reveal of the Xbox 360, and it just of that era, the presentations were so different. If you remember correctly, a woman rollerbladed onto the stage, pulled it out of like a messenger bag, and then put the Xbox 360, plugged it in, and pressed the on button. It was just a different time, a different way of presenting technology. Apple changed this big time, didn't they? Apple changed it
like
big time.
we all joke about like people being awkward or whatever, but you forget how much worse these things were.
Yeah, well, you remember the Engage one where they like revealed it with like those girls on stage who like pulled their tops up and had like the amount written on their chests.
Oh my god.
Xbox and the NFL.
But it was always like an actress or an actor paid to get up there and go, I want to just get on with my life. I don't want to worry about downloading and streaming, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And you'd be like, I just want to play my games. That's why. And it's like...
Well, they had Elijah Wood, didn't they, for the 360?
Yeah.
And he did the whole thing with that.
That's what our opportunity is.
Well, when we look for partners, we look for the best. And from a technology standpoint, Xbox, Microsoft, there's no one better. Now fans are going to be able to experience football in a way they've never experienced it before. You're going to change the game of football in a way that is just going to be so dramatic.
Do you reckon Don had to go back there to that guy and just say,
Yeah, sorry.
No, we didn't do any of that.
Fucking hell.
This partnership will redefine NFL.
Do you know, this should have gotten even more of a savaging than it did
Well,
when
no,
it came out.
to be fair, James, you look at this presentation, and they're not really saying anything ridiculously bad. They're not focusing on games, right? I understand your point there, and I think you're right. But what I'm saying is that they're not saying anything outrageous. Most of the controversial stuff came out after this presentation when Don was being interviewed.
But also, they're not really giving you any reason though for like the buy-in with this though at this stage still. Like, why would you want this?
No,
you know, like,
but they are presenting a sort of vision of, you know, running your TV through your box and controlling it with Kinect and stuff, right? So I could see the message that they're trying to put across, but as I say, the internet didn't blow up until he was being interviewed after this presentation. And that's where the whole always online thing come out, and you know, you can't just trade games in and stuff like that. That's where all that shit started hitting the newspapers.
It's true, but it's like you've had like nearly an hour of like a video games console without any games. It's just, it's baffling.
Later this year.
That's not an announcement.
No,
that's
it's
a
not.
guess.
We will release the Xbox One in shops
in the future. Yeah, just.
But this is just the beginning.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
A couple of weeks at E3.
Okay, 2 weeks.
Oh, a couple of weeks, James.
Incredible lineup of blockbuster games, including many exclusives that you'll find only on Xbox One.
He sounds like Donald Trump. He's like, you know, many exclusives. There'll be many exclusives. It's like
by presenting a world premiere from one of gaming's great franchises. They helped define excellence on Xbox 360. They found their home with our Xbox Live community.
Is this Gears?
And they are the #1 series in games today and one of the biggest franchises in entertainment history.
Call of Duty?
Oh, must
probably.
Like
It's Call of Duty, isn't it? Yeah, I remember.
All downloadable content for Call of Duty will launch exclusively first on Xbox One.
Hang on. I thought
snips that first in there.
I thought
Really?
Call of Duty. I thought they did a deal with PlayStation.
No, it was
They
Xbox
fucking
first.
did when they saw the sales figures.
Yeah, they switched.
Thank you, Don. It's
How
great
much
to be
longer?
here.
This was
we got
Ghosts
on?
as well, wasn't it?
Not
Yeah.
just for gaming,
This
but
was
for
their
all
worst
entertainment.
one.
Now,
Oh yeah,
to
this
be
is the one
clear,
that no one liked,
I
isn't
am
it?
the last human
Is this the
street
one where
standing between
Matt?
you
You sent me
and
this,
seeing the
and
world
you had
premiere
like
of
put in
next
the thing
generation
saying
of Call of Duty up
press
on that
like
screen in a
X to
couple of
bark,
minutes.
wasn't it?
Well, that was what Dave sent me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because there's a bit of the game where you're looking through the dog's eyes and you have to press X to bark, and it comes up. Press X to bark.
We
Amazing.
wanted to do the right thing.
There was also, was it the same game where it was press X to pay respect?
Yeah, that's another Call of Duty game.
That was it Homefront?
Press F. Yeah, press F to pay respects.
Oh, sorry, yeah. No, I'm thinking, no, it was a Homefront where you had to like dive in a pile of corpses to hide yourself or something, and that was like...
Yeah, that's a different event. The respect one was a Call of Duty, definitely.
Call of Duty engine. Call of Duty set the gold standard for first-person action in the current gen, and make no mistake, we're going to do it
Yeah, it was
again
Call of Duty.
with Call of Duty Ghosts for the next gen.
What?
We've had a camera crew inside our
The press F to
studio,
pay
Infinity
respects.
Oh, yeah,
It was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
we established that.
You cut out. I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay,
I thought
sorry.
you were going to call him something else then. You went, you cut out.
Here at Infinity Ward, we've had a great time crafting the benchmark of the modern.
So was this... So this is Infinity Ward, but had
She
everyone
used
fucked
it.
off by this point?
Yeah, everyone had gone by this point.
Yeah, Respawn already existed, yeah.
We have a whole new story with
Because at this point, people were like, actually, the Treyarch ones are the better ones. By this point.
Yeah.
engine that gives us amazing graphic fidelity and
Again,
really
though,
innovative new
the
ways
Call
to
of Duty
play.
games now look better than this.
Yeah.
Well, of course they
What we
do.
wanted to do is create a cast of characters that
Yeah,
you
but
really felt
you
more
say of course they do,
emotionally
but these are
attached
all
to.
like
What's your point?
pre-rendered, they smarted
Oh,
up.
yeah,
like,
okay, yeah, you're saying the
pre-downgrade.
yeah.
Directed Syriana.
What they really wanted in this game
Is this the one with Kevin Spacey in it?
is they wanted
No, that was
emotional
Advanced
reality.
Warfare, I
You know, they
think.
wanted these characters to feel real, to feel like real people.
So the story opens up with a mass event. America is crippled. Our military forces are devastated. Our government's in disarray. And as
Oh,
the
that's like
player,
2019
you
then.
are actually the underdog.
Hey.
It's formed from the remnants of all the U.S. Special Forces.
Ghosts are a super elite fighting force, to like the Spartans all the way through SEAL Team 6. They've adopted every technique that's useful for modern.
Did he just remove a knife
One of the
from a man
fascinating new additions to
in
your
the 3D
squad.
modeling?
That's
thing?
what happens in combat,
We've
Sean.
had dogs in Call of Duty before, but never like this. This
Did
is
he
someone you
just
care
kill
about.
a
This is
man?
squad.
It's just like,
He does
yeah,
everything
what
from
my job
sniffing
is
out
I like to
explosives
just load up the
protecting
models
team.
in
So
the
with this next
software and
Call
I
of
just
Duty,
generate a
new
knife
world
and just
on a
put it
whole
in the
new
man's
storyline.
face and then
One
pull
of
it
the
out
things that
again
we
and then
wanted
put
to
it back in and then pull
support
it out.
that was create a
All he
new
does.
engine.
Are you okay, Sean?
Our goal this
Yeah.
game is to make
I'm pretty bored, I'll be honest.
has never been seen before.
God, do you
This
want
is
more
the last
sport?
thing they show, isn't it? This is.
Is it?
This is
I remember
the
this being the last
headline.
thing.
Tries to maintain any curvature that you see. This is very helpful on weapons.
This is
helmets
insane.
for characters.
Like, this is
That makes a
absolutely
huge difference
insane.
for visual
What's
fidelity.
he
Look at
saying
the
about this?
wireframes, lads.
As well as close-up.
With a new
Hold on,
next-gen
what's insane
console,
about
this
this?
is an
You've just
What's
been
insane
complaining that they
ab-
haven't
no,
talked
what-
about games. They're talking about games, and you're like,
Yeah,
yes,
for
it's
for
insane.
5 minutes. They've done it for 5 minutes at the end of the show. I mean, that's what's insane about this.
Forza.
Oh.
Doesn't count.
invent the experience that we deliver. It's important to keep our core philosophies about gameplay drives tech.
So when I think about the animation features
What?
that we've been working on for Call of Duty Ghosts, one of the first things that come to mind is immersion. We have a new mantle system so that when you're running quickly,
Stop
and
for a
you hit
minute. His
wall,
name was
you
Zach
get this nice
Volker.
boom, you hit it and you leap and you go.
That is
and
a
you're
fucking
maintaining
killer
momentum.
name.
But we
It
have a
is.
feature that allows you to lean out and lean in and get a better view of the battlefield. So another feature that we're
That'd be
working on
rubbish.
animation.
Oh my god, it's got leaning.
Allows you to get somewhere quickly, get out of the
Only
line
with the
of
power of
fire,
the cloud.
and at the same time do it in a really
Yeah.
cool looking way.
We've added fluid dynamics.
I was really hoping that Crackdown 3 was in
and
this,
also added
because
an
That
AI
must
system
have been at E3, like the like a bit later.
out of the way when you get close
See,
to them.
this is the irony being that the system seller for this console was
The
Titanfall.
level should feel
Yeah.
like you're really there, and all the
Was that a
technologies
launch
going
title?
into it allows you to achieve
It
those
wasn't
goals.
at launch, no, but it was only a month or so after, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they basically
also-
like, tried to bury the fact that the 360 version was pretty much identical.
It also
What, not-
wasn't much of a
what,
system
Titanfall?
seller.
Everything from big earthquakes and
No,
floods
the
down to
360 version was not identical.
doors, explosive traps,
Loads of people at the time were saying like, oh,
Yeah,
it's-
loads of
it's
people
like,
talking bollocks because they didn't want to buy an Xbox One. I mean, you just have to look at comparison videos.
Okay.
It was serviceable, it worked, but
Yeah.
it was like saying,
wearing.
You should get
You can
Destiny on
connect
the
with who you are as a player,
360
more
or
so than
whatever
we've
it
ever
was.
done in the
Right, yeah,
past. Dynamic maps and character customization are just two of the new innovations that we're bringing to next-gen multiplayer.
Fucking
We
hell.
have the best fans in the world, and we're
I
committed to
don't agree
creating
with that.
a new next-generation Call of Duty experience.
Call of Duty has the best fans in the world.
Has been as successful as we focus on gameplay. It's
Call
the
of
thing we
Duty.
designed for. It's the thing
Oh,
that
nice and
drives
Teddy
our
Mouse
success
there.
as a franchise. And with all of the new
Do
tech,
you reckon
all of the new
is this so
storylines,
old that
everything
they
we're
still had
putting
the
into
balls
this
in the
next
mouse?
generation
But
Call
that's
of
it, you have to
Duty,
clean.
we are still
Yeah, they still have the balls, yeah.
low latency controls, a great feeling game.
This is so old, they had this game on cassette.
Wait, we've still got another 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, 5 minutes of waffle from
Beautiful
Matrick.
Call of Duty game we've ever made. It's the most character-driven and emotionally engaging
It's in
Call
the
of
top
Duty
pocket.
game we've ever made, and it will be the best Call of Duty game we've ever made.
Oh.
A stunning leap forward, not
Quite
just for the
exciting.
franchise, but also for console gaming. To show you what I mean, we've put together a little comparison video that shows you what's possible on the next gen and put side by side the differences
This'll be
between what we're going to be
interesting.
delivering in Call of Duty Ghosts and what was in Infinity Ward's last game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which was state-of-the-art just a very short time ago. And when you look at the differences side by side, it's actually pretty stunning. Let's take a look.
This sequence shows one of Modern Warfare 3's main characters.
Fucking
Price.
hell, that does look well
While this
360,
asset
doesn't it?
pushed the limits of
Yep.
what was
Does,
capable at the time.
to be fair.
The technology employed by the new engine allows us to take the visual fidelity of our models to a whole new level.
Hang on, is that the better one? Because it doesn't look much
This
better.
next
That
generation
one
I was
does.
going to say, actually, yeah, fuck, that's the new game, isn't it?
No, there's definitely different.
Textures,
Yeah, I know.
There is a
you're
difference,
talking
but it's
bollocks,
not.
boys.
and self-casting.
Alright, I didn't think it was huge.
Here,
But-
you
That's
can
the
see
old
dog
one.
model from Modern Warfare.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Our new dog model
That's
is
the new one.
Now
Wow.
he's got a bigger camera.
SEAL teams
I remember that being a meme. I remember that being a meme.
Dog looks ridiculous.
What's not ridiculous? Dog's doing his best, mate.
Yeah.
The arms in MW3 were beautiful. at the
That's what
time,
dogs look like,
but the
James.
new engine allows for significantly improved texture resolution. This advancement in technology allows us to convey fine hairs,
Got hairs on his arms.
cuts,
We need that
Yeah.
in games.
and even the dirt beneath the fingernails.
I'm constantly looking for that in my Modern Warfare games.
Here's an
Cuticles,
example of a
lads.
jungle environment from Modern Warfare 3.
Fucking cuticles.
Now, here's a jungle environment from Ghosts. This scene employs
I mean, the only
many
game
tech
that's looked
features,
like that
including
is Red Dead.
volumetric lighting, boosted
Yep.
poly count, and
Yeah.
self-casting shadows.
On the 1X.
Okay, you've seen the vision
Okay.
for the game, and you've seen the technology behind it. You've
Yeah.
seen just a few of the ideas that we're bringing to Call of Duty Ghosts inside campaign, new characters, new story, new narrative, and inside multiplayer, dynamic maps, character customization, and there are a lot more new ideas to come. From new co-op ideas to seamless second screen integration.
Did you just
to
tell
voice
us what we've
commands
seen?
for you to
I assumed
connect
it was,
and more.
but you
Now,
haven't seen this?
It's time to see it
Oh,
all
yeah.
come together. The
Okay.
gameplay you're about to see is running in-engine on the new Xbox hardware.
Oh shit.
This is the new generation of Call of Duty
Ooh.
on the new generation of
Here we
Xbox.
go.
This is the world premiere.
Because it was a much bigger deal at that time, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
like
this was
big,
huge.
big.
Exclusive content as well for one of the biggest games.
It's been 10 years. You start to forget.
You start to forget colour.
It's been 10 years. You start to forget how bad the Xbox One launch was.
You can't stop remembering. The things you should forget.
There he is.
You've always had the power. Not anymore.
Who doesn't remember the character
We have
Dog from Call of Duty?
We're ghosts. Fighting for something.
They haven't actually shown any gameplay though, have they? This has all been.
It's in
But they
engine.
usually
What
do
else
this
do you
when it
want?
starts.
Yeah.
Stand
They'll show a bit of mission, won't they?
Well, this thing
I
ends in
think
about
so.
a
We're
minute.
running out of time.
No.
It's true. Less than a minute now. No, they won't. Wow. Okay. I remember that bit. You just push forward.
Next gen, isn't it?
Classic. Yeah, pet the dog.
I'm surprised actually. There's things in this that I thought were in it, but are not.
There must
You
be
know, they didn't
E3.
talk about the power of the cloud and all that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that came later. That's when they started
Yeah.
actually talking about the games, because that's what I'm saying. I mean, this did they? How much did they announce after this as well, though?
No, all the Fallout happened after this. This was disappointing, but the Fallout, the controversial shit, was all like.
But was the
games.
Fallout after this, or was it after the other showing later?
No,
After
it
they
was
showed the
after
games?
this. The Fallout was after this.
Are you sure?
Yes, because he was being interviewed after this reveal, straight away. I'm pretty sure of it.
I don't know, because I seem to remember when they did the other one at E3, they showed more games, and then there was the whole thing where they started to talk about how you could share games and all that kind of thing.
No, because if you remember correctly, that same E3, Sony did their presentation where they took the piss out
Yeah.
of Microsoft throughout the whole thing. So all that news had broken.
No, but
by then.
that video where they took the piss happened like the day after.
No,
like,
but on
they
stage.
did it.
On
Yeah,
stage,
yeah,
he
that-
come on and said.
Yeah, that happened
they,
at E3.
They immediately said.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
At
not
this
so
point,
sure
at this
about
point,
that.
we're 2 weeks out. It had all the Fallout and that stuff kicked off in that 2 weeks, and then E3. Sony was like, yeah, did the whole video
Because,
stuff.
see, I remember them showing this, and then everyone moaning about it and saying it was bad because they didn't show any games, and then they just said it's fine. We're going to show you the games at E3 instead.
Yeah, but
and then also. Because they didn't talk anything in this, did they, at all about the digital stuff?
No.
And I do clearly remember them having like a presentation where they talked about that, like as being like part of the core concept. I'm sure that was in the next second one.
I don't remember, but that definitely rings a bell. Yeah.
I can't place it. But anyway, I was. There's a few things that I was surprised about. The first being that, I remember at the time not being bummed out by it because I knew that the games were coming. But I was more interested in this whole TV stuff. Although going back on it, like looking back at it, Jesus Christ, they did really, they had a total vision for this console, and completely destroyed that vision by the time it had come out. You know what I mean? They really thought they knew that where they were going with this console, and they didn't. They didn't know where they were going, and they had to reverse on so much.
No, they did. It's just that they were going where nobody wanted to go.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is that within months of this, what we've just seen, and how confident they were, and how they were sort of making these claims about what that console could do, within months of it, they were ripping things out.
Yeah.
They were saying, "Oh, okay, you don't have to have your connected."
But they had to
time.
because the feedback was so bad.
Yeah.
It's
and the whole Xbox One experience has just been like a reactive experience, really, hasn't it? Like
it has.
Yeah, even with Phil Spencer, like buying all those studios and all that kind of thing. The whole thing's been reactive to Sony in the sense of like, oh, what have they got? Okay, we need to have loads of first-party studios because we didn't have any and all that kind of thing. It's just.
And then towards the end of this generation, they are shying away from that a little bit. They are getting to a point where they're saying, "You know what? The console isn't that important. It's about the service we provide," and that's interesting. They seem to be trying now to, instead of following what Sony are doing, they seem to be setting themselves up for, hey, this is where we think gaming's going.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we have a solid foundation to build it. We want to be the first ones to, because when this streaming stuff starts, where you can stream to anything, all the latest Microsoft games or whatever, they've already got Game Pass in a good position.
Definitely.
To then just start, you're paying for Microsoft and their service. You're not paying for the console. The sale of the console means nothing to them anymore.
But the thing that, but then what they've learned from that, which is what everybody seems to know now, apart from Google, is that it is all about the content you've got and what you own. And it's like the fact that one of the main reasons that PlayStation's been so successful this generation is because they had all those studios, they had all the stuff they could keep pumping out exclusives all the time. And that's why, like what you said, like what Microsoft are doing with the cloud stuff, that's only going to work if they've also got that. And that's why they bought all these studios to prepare all that content.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't seem terribly bothered about Google at the moment, because we don't know if Google have got any of that, like any of the actual like the content that you put on.
No, that's it. I mean, if Google just released their streaming service and it's got all the games on it that say Game Pass has got,
then why would you choose it?
Why would you choose it? That's what Microsoft are doing, in my opinion. They're at a point where they had to sort of make some sort of headway in this generation, and it did seem as though that they were going for Sony directly, but now it feels like they're kind of moving away from that and focusing on creating a service rather than worrying about trying to sell consoles.
Which is fine as long as they've got the content to put on that service.
Yeah, and I mean, but then
it.
as you like, I was quite surprised to hear you say that PlayStation Now is as good. It's got all the same stuff on it as Game Pass, and I don't agree with that.
Well,
I mean, when I was looking at comparison stuff,
in terms of like third-party games, it has. Like
Microsoft is still pumping out a shit ton of stuff on Game Pass every month.
They are, but then so also
now.
are Sony as well. It's just that nobody knows about it, because the thing that they've totally wrecked with that is the fact they've never advertised it at all. And I mean, the figures that came out the other day were interesting about PlayStation Now, because there's like the numbers are low, but also most people are downloading games on it as well. Like they're basically using it like Game Pass. And the difference between like PlayStation Now and Game Pass is the fact that it doesn't have like the Sony exclusive games on it. If it did, then it would be.
What's the monthly?
It's ridiculous. It's
like
15 quid or something, isn't it?
I mean,
I don't know.
So double what Microsoft are offering.
Yeah, it's not worth it at all, and that's the thing. I mean, this is what's really weird about this, because the PlayStation Now service with all the PS4 games they've now got is actually, as I understand it, because I've not tried it, is not bad. Like really, it's like it's maybe not as good as Game Pass. Maybe it hasn't got as much stuff, but it's getting there. But no one knows about it at all, and because they just don't advertise it, and the pricing is wrong. It's just too much.
So then that goes back to my original point. Microsoft are focusing on creating the foundations for games as a service, and that's clearly the route they're taking, and maybe not for the next generation, but certainly for the generation after, and if they've got everything in place to deal with that, then they're, in a situation like that, you want to be the first. You know, you want to have the best offering. You want to make the easy transition, and I think they're taking quite an interesting step in that direction. What I'm getting from looking back at this is that back then they had a clear vision as well, but that one was just way away. Like that was just not what the consumer wanted at that time.
And they had some really good ideas as well, but
they did.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
It was partly implementation. It was partly implementation and partly misunderstanding what the consumer wants.
Yeah, and also partly communicating as well. Like it wasn't really communicated in a way that it should have been, regardless of how good or bad the ideas were.
Yeah.
They had so many ideas, but they backtracked, and if anything, like I wonder where it would be if they just stuck with their ideas. And I mean, right now,
I watching back
by Sony, by
the feeling I get is that was nowhere near as
guns.
That was nowhere near as bad.
Obviously, we'll never know, but
I mean, looking back at what we've seen tonight, that was nowhere near as bad as what I remembered. And maybe James is right that it was actually the E3 showing where the shit really started hitting the fan. But looking back on it, it does make you cringe at how little they spoke about games, and that's mainly because at this point now, we know how important that was to win this past generation, and watching them go through that at the time, some people might have thought it was bad or whatever. Watching back now with the knowledge that we've got on how that console launched, it's like watching a natural disaster slowly happen. Very slowly happen. You're like, oh my god, wow, you really are pushing this thing that we know
about games, and it's all like TV and sports, and it's like at the time I was
disappointed,
but it's just watching it now. It's crazy how little they actually talked about games.
But you see, what's interesting about it is that like the original plan with the Xbox was for this, like in the sense that it was the box that was going to be take on like the PlayStation in terms of like being a multimedia device. It wasn't supposed to be just games or whatever. It was going to be everything so that Microsoft could take over like your living room. And
because the 360 had plenty of like video apps and stuff.
Yeah, it had all of this stuff. Yeah. It was. But then this was the point where, because before that they kept on trying to deny that and was always talked about it's just about the games, we really care about games and that kind of thing. And this is where they kind of tipped their hand for the first time of being like, actually, this is really what we're in this for, is to try and like take over like the whole entertainment, like and that kind of thing. And people got upset about that. But I think, Dave, you're right in terms of, I mean, I still feel, despite the lack of content and stuff that Microsoft have got now, like going forward, they're still in the best position out of all of the companies probably to actually make it happen.
To make that leap if it happens,
they're definitely in the best position for that, considering like the technology they've got and the the background and everything. And but it's just my main thing with this is always it's about the content, and I still don't think they've got that yet, because there's still like for the next generation at least, there's still going to be a good reason to own like PlayStation hardware, which is the fact that all of those Japanese developers, and we're still not going to see that on Xbox because
but then it's easier to own a PlayStation and then but also just pay for the Microsoft service. Do you know what I mean? Because if you can have that on whatever, it's easier to, like, as I said, I don't think they give a shit about, maybe not for the next generation, I think maybe it's too soon for that, but eventually they are really not going to give a shit about how many people buy their console.
Oh yeah,
they will be caring about how many people are signed up for that service.
Yeah, ultimately they want everyone to pay like £8 a month and then not have to bother doing a console. I mean, like obviously there's been like hundreds of millions, billions in R&D. I know like typically consoles now do make money, but historically they've always been a bit of a loss leader because it's software, services, accessories that make money. Yeah, if they can say we don't have to make consoles and we'll just like make little streamer boxes or just sell services, that's the dream. They want every single one of like I think there was like 40 or 50 million like Xbox One users. They want all of those spending £8 a month on Game Pass rather than having to like shift a massive console which costs money and for developing and shipping. And I mean it's really exciting to see what's going to happen. And I think you're right that they've got the history, they've got the pedigree, and they've got the technical side with Azure servers and data centers around the world. I mean, maybe Sony are doing things in the background. I think it's unlikely, but the next generation. It's just so interesting watching this, and then now looking at where they are and where they're going. Because, I love my original Xbox. I love my Xbox 360. And when I saw this, it's just disappointing, and I didn't get an Xbox One for ages. And I mean, I've talked about it on the podcast loads. I think it's much more exciting to see what Xbox are going to do versus PS5. I know PS5 is going to be an incredible console, but Microsoft have got to make big changes. They've already made a lot, and I'm excited to see what they do. Because I mean, what we want is two really competitive like people in the game space. We don't want like one person to be crushing the other person, and it'd be awesome to have two really super competitive consoles in the market.
Yeah,
better for everyone, I think.
Right then,
cool.
We done?
I think we're done.
I think we're done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, as boring as that was, I've quite enjoyed doing this. So I'm quite looking forward to doing more of these now.
Yeah, and we're open to suggestions as well. If you think that there's something you should sit and talk over, then give us your feedback.
Definitely, yeah. Oh, I've got a massive list of old like console announcements stuff, but yeah, absolutely. If you're watching this and you've got a suggestion how we could make this better or things we could react to, email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. Hit us up on Twitter @computergamepod. We'd love to hear your suggestions how we can make this bigger and better. Hopefully this has worked well, and I'm definitely excited to do more because there's so many great conferences and moments and E3s and stuff. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. On that, everyone actually wave goodbye at your cameras.
Okay.
Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye.